even though I had a kid, I support this. And we only had one kid. We were very emotional. So we were very happy. And I wouldn't have a kid now.
What was this about?
We were out here trying to, get people to think critically about, procreation. There are a lot of consequences to having kids, and
like environmental consequences.
Not just that, social consequences as well. I mean, we're adding one more mouth to feed, we're adding one more person to clothe, shelter, right? And there are already so many people in dire need of all of these basic resources. Like, the question is, do we prioritize the existing people who are in need, or do we prioritize our own biological desire to procreate? Like, what do you think is more important, right?
So you think that nobody should procreate, or just should be reduced?
Well, I'm an antinatalist, so I think procreation is immoral. But on a practical sense, I don't think this is going to compel everyone to stop having kids. We're only trying to, reach out to the conscientious people, and people who are on the fence of having kids. If you really want to care for another human being, raise a new human being, why not adopt? There are about 500,000 kids in the U.S. foster system alone. And then when you look at outside of the U.S., there are over 1 million kids in orphanages. And they're in those situations for no fault of their own, right? No kid asks to be born. No kid says, oh, you know what, I want to be in the foster system. Or, you know what, I want to be in the orphanage. And what do we do about those kids? And those kids they have the worst of luck. We probably lucked out because I don't want to speak for you guys. I had good parents who took care of me, right? But what of those kids, who are in those situations? So we're trying to, inspire thought and basically care for these existing beings. There's so much existing suffering. Why not work towards mitigating that suffering?
So while that suffering ended, then would you still say that you're glad to have children, or even then?
I think I'd be less opposed to it, but I'm personally an antinatalist. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the philosophy.
With the idea.
Antinatalism, yeah. I don't think it's moral. Yeah, I think birth under any circumstance is it's not a moral good.
So the person being born doesn't consent to it.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody consents to it. You're making the choice that has a huge consequence, because existing is a huge consequence, and you're making the choice for another human being. Every human being is deserving of basic human rights, right? And when you're in a world where not every human is accorded that right, is that okay?
But most people are happy that they're alive, right? I'm sure you are.
I'm happy that I'm alive, but not everyone in my group are happy that they're alive, and they think that they are imposed that existence. And I'm thankful that I'm happy, but at the same time, I have privileges excuse me. I've been able to afford a house. I've not been able to think. I don't have to think of the next meal, but that's because of capitalism. In capitalism, the wealth that you have is derived from the impoverishment of others. So I wouldn't knowingly create another privileged human being just so that I can perpetuate this inequity.
I don't think it's correct to say that you gaining wealth makes someone else poorer. It's not like a zero-sum game.
Well, in the current system of capitalism, that's how it works. Unfortunately, we can work towards fixing the system, and I would tell you, should you fix the system or bring more humans, unconsenting humans, into this broken system?
And maybe those humans can help fix the system.
Yeah, we can prioritize fixing the system, right? Yeah, and that's what we're trying to say. And if you have kids, you're less likely to, you're not going to have time to fix the system. You're going to be invested in your kid. Raising a kid is, it's a big deal. It takes a lot of your time. It's a full-time job in itself. Yeah. You're not going to be able to change the world, help the existing, when you have a kid of your own.
Yeah, that's a good argument. Do you have any questions?
No, not really. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 32.
32.
Yeah.
When did you get into antinatalism?
When did I get into antinatalism? That's a good question. Probably about a year ago. Well, I'm an animal rights activist as well.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah. But my philosophy is basically rooted in reducing suffering. So I'm trying to, reduce suffering because, nobody wants to suffer.
And you're an animal rights activist, you said?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think about animal births? Do you think animals should also not give birth?
Yeah, but I'm not going to go, crack down against animals and, penalize them for giving birth, because we have moral agency, right? We have moral agency. I mean, sure, we can sterilize our companion animals. I'm for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, to go out into the wild and maybe sterilize every wild animal, I don't think we should prioritize that, because I think humans are the most destructive species.
Okay, well, thanks
Yeah.
for your perspective.
Yeah, no, thank you. We're out here to talk to people, so we're not out here to shame or say bad things.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we're here for.